Well, I want to show you my half Russian partner here. He's like part Russian blue. Because I want to talk about some of the scams going on with Russian palladium. God, every year they talk about the Russian palladium reserves are almost depleted. You better throw every last dollar in there that you have and it'll go up 10 times. Eventually, yeah, I know. You probably heard him go, meow, his meows. But the thing is, they do this every year. You don't ever know when the damn stuff is actually depleted. I was just watching some spiel about, they had all these computer files stolen from Russian state secrets, and one of them is that the Russian palladium is out. So what I say is, they're going to drive the price up again, and they're probably going to dump it on the market. That's exactly what they did in 2011. Actually, it went up to, I think, 860 in February, I believe it was. Not exactly. I think it was like 860 around there in February 2011. Retreated and went up to, I think, 850 in August of 2011. There was all these stories out, and I'm not going to mention where it was, about, the price dropping. I think the price is going to go up again, but I'll bet you there'll be another scam pullback because they got reserves. They're not gonna. They got reserves. They could still dump on the market, and what they want to do is sell it to people high, in a very high price. So that's going to be eventually, though. Palladium is going to be probably 10 times the price it is right now. Eventually, that's what I'm thinking, because it's very much used in hydrogen production, and I think hydrogen is going to be the fuel of the future because. What the big bucks, I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be accurate. I'm shooting a little bit from the hip, but not exactly. You know how the oil companies, oil's like the big commodity since the 1800s, and actually there's a lot of other technology out there that can replace oil. Like everybody knows about some of these things, the hidden Tesla technology, and there is a lot of stuff actually that could replace oil. Hemp is a simple one that could replace oil, basically. Hemp, just growing hemp. But they don't allow it. It's almost like the people that are the shrewdest, the best, and the brightest, and the biggest screw-over artists in the world that want to control everybody else, like a bunch of slaves. What they're moving into is water. So I think we're actually probably going to get most of our energy from hydrogen, and so many secrets that supposedly have been discovered before, how to produce hydrogen from water very cheaply with specific frequencies and stuff, they'll probably come out of the woodwork. But where the guys on the top that are going to be the ruling influence of the world are probably going to be through the control of water. That's what I think is going to happen. So, but still, that'll leave palladium in a very important role, because hydrogen production, hydrogen purification, and hydrogen storage is right now the only thing in the world that really works with that efficiently is palladium. So long term, that thing's got a very bright future. So it may actually go up to 10 times, as we get away from oil. We'll probably go to hydrogen. And like I said, it ain't going to be something where the world is going to be saved, and unless people freaking get smart, But I'm going to tell you where I think I'm going to invest money in the future. And actually, I've done this a while ago because I was into the shooting sports. But and I would actually go into hemp, but hemp is illegal. Just a plain old industrial hemp. I think that would be a super product out there, but I don't know when the hell they're going to make that legal. Well, what I actually might do is actually go into the guns, go into firearms business or something, because I think that stuff is actually going to cost more and more money, and there's going to be a heavy demand for it, because I realize the people on the top are probably not wanting the industry to actually flourish, but the more they do that, I think the more people want this stuff. So actually, as a personal investment, I think you might be smart to invest in instead of silver coins, ammunition. it's a speculation, but I think when the peak in silver hits here, I think it's going to hit, say, 2017. I think the thing that's going to be relentless as far as being in short supply is going to be ammunition. So if you had that stuff, you probably can, I mean, as of now, it's not illegal to sell ammunition, but it might be better than silver coins. So just, sometimes people ask me about a physical, simple asset that may be good for long term. It might be that. It might just even be the brass itself. Who the hell knows what's going to come out in the future? It depends on how successful the elite Illuminati are in doing some stuff, because it really shouldn't go up that much, but it may. It may. So, because I think that trend is going to continue. So actually, ammunition might actually be a freaking very good investment. Yeah, as far as like, you say, you sold silver for $100 an ounce someday, you might want to put some of that money in a hard capital asset like ammunition. Sounds kind of stupid, but it may not be. But I just want to warn people about, I could see the scams. I think Palladium is going to be another one that you're going to dump on people, and just knowing how it's played out in the past, look at what happened to Palladium back in 2001. It went to 4 times the price of gold, and damn, it dropped off the side of a cliff. So I can tell you one thing, actually, if you're in Palladium now, you're in it early enough still, even though it's went up about 4 times from the low back in 2008 or 9, whatever it was. It's still low enough because it's way below the price of gold. But you're probably not going to have the inside information when the top's going to be here. But I think they're getting ready to do another pump and dump on Palladium. I've been seeing too many different things out there on Palladium and big rumors about the Russian stockpiles being depleted. They said these Russian stockpiles were depleted back in 2010 and 2011 and 2008 and 2009, and it's the same old story. So, I think there'll be a run-up, but it won't be as high as they say. Just like, same game that's going to happen with silver eventually, too. And silver could actually go to $400 or $500 an ounce sometime. It may not be that long, though, when it did it. Just a little lesson back in history. When silver back in 1979 went to almost $50 an ounce, how brief was that window? It was like a matter of, actually, even it was only way less than a half a year. It was like, I think, over $20. And it was a matter of, actually, it was like a day it went up that high. So maybe one day silver might go up to $400 or $500 an ounce, and there might be a 1 week period where it's over 300, and there might be a 6 month period where it's over 200. That's what I kind of expect might happen. That's why I'd urge people to sell in steps. The ones that are listening to me, free financial information, but it's not really general. It's common sense. I want people to keep a cool head about this shit, because it's common sense. It's like you're not going to hit the exact top. If you did, it's going to be a few people that did that. Most people ain't. Very few people would hit the exact top. Just think about where your next move is. And I'm saying, if hemp turns out to be legal, where it's industrial hemp, and like you can invest in companies that are the first ones out there, and they actually say in the various states you can grow plain old industrial hemp, I would jump on any of those markets and spread out your bets. Try to look for good people and look carefully at their balance sheets, and also the officers in the company, where they came from. Because if it's a new venture, you don't want some marketer out there as somebody who's being the top guy in a hemp company. You want somebody that's been thoroughly familiar in agriculture and actually has ties to other areas of agriculture, and look up these people, actually see what's in their bank account and stuff like that, because a lot of these people, startup ventures are bullshit. But actually, if hemp becomes legal, that would be the #1 bet. But the way things are going, I hope they're not successful with limiting ammunition and guns and people's civil rights and personal freedoms, but they might be, the trend seems to be there. That might be a smart investment. That might be a smart investment because, looking back at the price of ammunition and guns and stocks and the manufacturers of those things, man, I'm sure blew away silver. Now there might be a pullback, but if there's a pullback in that and then the metals go way up, that might be something to look at because I think that long-term trend is going to be around a while. So you could actually buy physical ammunition or physical projectile bullets or physical bullets, brass or something, and that stuff could actually double in price in a matter of a few years. You know what? People don't think of that stuff. Yeah, I just put out a little video too today about labeling stuff, and I want to point out something with that too. When you're doing a lot of research and you're trying to keep track of various things, a lot of people, there's basically there's old school people who do everything on paper, and there's the newer crowd that's more computer literate, and everybody's looking up on the iPhone and all this type of stuff, and they got the laptop and netbook and all that. Actually, you need to be both, and sometimes it's simple organization that helps you more than anything in all your decisions, because and just watch out for the greed factor. Because basically that's how these jerks sell things to people. Greed. Everybody's got greed. But I just have to say, be very careful in your decisions, and also organize exactly what your moves are going to be and write it down. Most people, I'll tell you, one thing that most people screw up in business generally is they don't stay organized. Organization. And it's like the simplest things in the world because it isn't like the most gee-whiz electronic gadget out there. But a lot of times when you're an organization freak, you're very successful. And there's one people that I remember in the ancient world that were highly, highly organized, and they conquered the entire then known world that you could possibly transport an army with, was the Romans. They were masters at organization. Kind of like the opposite of like the modern day Italians in some ways, because the Italians are more a little artistic and stuff like that, noted for that type of stuff. But organization actually will probably make you far more successful in all your decisions, and don't overlook any small detail. That actually is one of the things that many people screw up on. They go for the biggest gee-whiz gadget out there, and sometimes simplicity is beauty. So I just want to point that out at the end here, because organization conquers everything. It's when a smaller force can conquer a larger force. It's because of organization, which creates efficiency. And people forget about the little things, and they forget about common sense. So just want to point out though about Palladium, it's probably going to have a run up here, but it's not going to hit 10 times right away. I smell bullshit. But if you're in it now, you're okay. You're okay right now. You should be good.